All right, welcome back here to the set of Thrive America. We're here at Blank Stage Theater, and of course joined here by Erica. And for someone to talk about business plans, it needs to come from you because, like I mentioned before, you see the business plan, you see the business owner, and you see the concept of the business come to your desk, and you're the first point of contact. If you're going to go to bat for your client and help them find a loan, you got to see a plan, and you got to see an idea. So that was just a great segment, and thanks for sharing that with us.
My pleasure.
And so forth. So, in your world, again, to communicate what Erica does is you help find resources, a loan to pursue, to advance their cause, to pursue that business.
That's correct.
And you mentioned that you got to have some working capital to even get a loan, so I know you kind of qualify that. But what's the process like to someone who, like me, who has no idea, who might one day want to expand from this little studio into a bigger studio? What process would that be like for me or for any business owner out there?
That's a great question, in fact. And I liked when we meet with our clients, we actually share with them the expectations and what we're looking for, and then we also share with them the process. And one of the first steps of this process is to do just what we talked about earlier, to put a plan together, to have a vision, to have a mission, to have a goal, have some type of structure around the concept and the idea that you have. The next step I would suggest would be that you would then talk with a real estate professional. A real estate agent who can, preferably a commercial real estate agent, someone who understands commercial real estate, and then share with them your plan and your vision. Here's what I want to do in this space, so that as they're out looking for space for you, they're keeping in mind what it is that you're going to do in that business. One thing I want to suggest here also is that while you're working with a realtor, one thing you want to make sure of is that they're actually experienced in the area that you're in. And I say that because if you live like in Marietta near the square, there's certain criterias and certain zoning issues that take place. And so if you're not working with an agent who understands the area, you may miss something, and you may buy a building that you want to do a studio out of, but they may have some parameters around what can actually function out of that facility. So it's very important to make sure that you're working with someone who's clear about the location that you're looking for and the area that you're looking in.
That's great.
The other thing, obviously, you want to start doing is preparing your loan package. You want to start pulling together your tax returns, because we're going to review those. We're going to look at those over the last 3 years. You want to start putting together your profit and loss statements from your business. Because if you're already in business, then we want to see the history, what you're doing. Are you making any money? Are you showing an increase in income, or are you just showing a decline in income? If there's a decline, we want to start understanding why there's a decline. And we also want to know what the funds are going to be used for. So you also need to start working on your budget. If you're requesting $2 million, you want to itemize how you're going to use that $2 million. Very important to know. And you can think of this, if you were coming to me and asking me for money, I would want to know how you're going to spend it. And I'm sure if I came to you asking you for money, you're going to want to know that also. It's just kind of a natural process. You want to kind of get a picture of where those funds are going. The next step in that process would be to identify the property and to place a contract on the property. After you've placed a contract on the property, then you would want to have that property inspected. And I say have it inspected because there will be an appraisal that will be done. And just to kind of give you an idea of the cost of appraisals for the commercial world, they start at $2,500 and they go up. And I've seen them go up as far as $5,000, $6,000. So it's not an inexpensive process on the appraisal aspect, but that is a required thing. That's something that the lender is going to require, and they do that for their protection. The inspection, however, is a less expensive cost to you, but it's something for you, because the bank is not so much concerned about whether or not you'll go into this commercial property and flick the light switch and the lights come on. I mean, it's nice to know that it works, and that'd be great, but the appraisal is not looking at that. He's looking at the other aspects of the property. He's looking at the structure. He's looking at the cost analysis, and he's reviewing those things. So he's not going in flicking light switches to see if the lights come on. However, for you as a business owner, if you buy this property on Friday and you're looking to start business on Monday morning and you walk in the door, flick the light switch and it doesn't come on, that's a problem for you. The mortgage is still due. The payments are still going to go. So you still have to make those payments, but you're not creating any business on day one because the power is not working. And now you have to figure out what's going on with the power. And because you no longer lease, you're now the owner, you can't really call the landlord because you are the landlord. So it's important to have an inspection so that the inspector can make sure that everything you need to function day one of the operation of your business is in place.
Wow. So your process nips a lot of these issues in the bud. You can the downside is if you don't go through this process, you can be stuck in a property, and I'm sure you see this all the time, either in a bad location or there was a factor that they didn't think about. Everything was great except maybe they couldn't put a sign outside or something like that. So it's what a great process, and something that if we're thinking about getting a bigger property or a commercial lease, some things to be aware of. And tell me about the bus tour. I know this is something that you've started to put together in your company, and it sounds like to me that you do a lot of education, not just, this is one thing I do, but it sounds like you really want to educate the business owner because you want to have a good, successful track record.
Certainly. And for many years in the commercial industry, it's very tight-lipped, it's very hush-hush, it's kind of not very educating, if you will. And so I've started doing commercial real estate tours. They are educational tours, not sales tours. I load a bus of investors up every other month. We go look at commercial real estate property, at least 4 different property types. One always being a multifamily because my target market for those tours are residential investors, and they like multifamily. And we go in and out of these properties. We touch and feel them. We calculate debt coverage ratios, which is a terminology that most people don't know about, but it's a calculation that we use in the commercial real estate industry. We look at occupancy rates, which are extremely important for commercial real estate. We have to have the certain level of occupancy to make this property cash flow. We talk about the ins and outs of actually buying the property, and not only from a lending perspective, but from a cash flow perspective for the investor as well. So we do this every other month. We load them up, we take them, and I have to tell you, Brent, I started it because I would get calls all the time from investors asking me to evaluate properties for them. And I figured I could save myself a whole lot of time if I just put them on a bus and take them out at one time and share the knowledge.
Now, I've been on the bus, and as you know, we're working on a project for you, and it is such a friendly environment, and everyone there is there to educate you. I kind of felt like I was taking a class, just moving around and able to meet people and really talk to other investors who were thinking about buying some commercial property. I know you helped graduate that residential investor to commercial and educate them on, if they're thinking in that direction, on what to do. Erica, great segment. Thank you so much. You're doing a great job. And we'll be right back with Erica's final segment. Now, I want you to be thinking about what you know to help us thrive in this economy.
Certainly.
All right.